Hi, this is Carolyn from Holistic Campus, and I am here with Brett Sullivan, who is an intuitive reader and one of our founding practitioners. Welcome, Brett.
Thank you, Carolyn. It's nice to
Well,
be here.
good. So tell us a little bit about what that means, intuitive reading.
Sure. I started with tarot way back when, almost on a fluke. And when I was reading the cards, I never really referred to the instruction booklet that came with it, or the interpretive booklet, I should say,
Ah,
because I started just getting information. I was able to look at the cards and uh, just kind of knew what they meant for the person that was sitting across from me. Never really had any formal training in this. I used to do it for fun. I used to do it for friends. A few people had asked me to, come to a party and do readings with friends, and that was always fun. I also found that usually once a person kind of set the intention and they sat in front of me, that the information started flowing.
oh,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was thinking about our meeting today, and I have a few things for you later on we'll talk about.
oh, goody.
And so I kind of kept going on like that, and then I decided to do something with it, and met a great group in New Hampshire, where I was living at the time, who did kind of like they called it a psychic sampler, where you would sit and people would come in for readings.
Yeah.
The proceeds donated the center, which was a not-for-profit. So it was great. It was a great time to kind of hone my skill with complete strangers, which is probably the best thing to do because you don't know a lot about their circumstances. There's certain people today even that I can't read in my life because I just know them too well.
Mm.
And I lay a card down and it could mean one of 1,000 things, but because I know who they are, I tend to assign a meaning to it. And so, so there's certain people I can't read for. So anyway, I was reading for these strangers and it was wonderful. And I started getting repeat customers, which I really enjoyed. I even had a couple of people who did psychic work for a living come to me on a regular basis to kind of get some clarification. Wish
That's great.
they hadn't, well, I wish they hadn't told me. It made me a little bit nervous to know that I was reading for them. But it's a wonderful thing. The information that I get for the people that I'm reading for is the information that they're supposed to hear.
Mhm.
I will get questions from people who are sitting across from me that I can't answer, and the other side, spirit, will be very clear that they're not supposed to know the answer. So it's like, people want to go to psychics and they want any spiritual psychic. I use psychic as kind of a broad term, but they'll want to know specific answers to questions, and that's sometimes something I feel badly about, but spirit will tell me they're not supposed to know yet. They're supposed to experience something first. We can't tell them, and then I'll tell them. This one woman who came to me, who was a psychic for a living, sat down and said, I just broke up with my boyfriend. I want to know when the next one is coming. And so I got the cards and I said, I hear August. And this was in February sometime. And she goes, nope, that doesn't work for me. I said, well, I'm not the one to be negotiating with. So.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Right, exactly. So, and that's exactly what it is. I'm a messenger. I'm a messenger for people. I tend to get a lot of business answers for some reason, career, job, charities, volunteer work, that sort of thing. And I can also get some health information, and it's usually never critical. And I will always tell people, never ever take health advice from an intuitive. If it comes through, you should probably look into it, but don't take it as fact. And usually I'll get nutritional stuff. There's been any health scares, some genetic stuff. It's kind of all over the board, and it's great because especially for someone who's just kind of getting into this and just getting readings. or have never had a reading before, sit with me is kind of a good introduction, because I can do the generals, I can see what's going on in their lives, and I can try and guide them in the right direction. And that's all from the other side. That has nothing, of course, to do with me. You know, I'm just kind of the hollow bone as it is, and I'm just kind of, or the telephone line. I'm just giving you some information that's coming from the other side, and that's how I do.
And that sounds like this found you, didn't it?
It did. I was actually working with some friends, West Coast, working, meaning sitting in development circles with them. They were trying to develop their ability, and one is now very famous, and I'm not going to mention names, and the other one is pretty well known as well. And along the way, my gift started to develop as well. So I went into this with no intention of honing a skill, but I certainly came out with one. And went to a store and saw this beautiful deck of cards, and that was the one for me. You know, and that's when I teach tarot, I tell people it's the artwork that will speak to you. It's if the artwork is speaking to you, that's the deck that you should use.
So do you feel like, Brett, though, from the standpoint of you've got so much of this communication, like psychic is not really even the word for it, it's definitely mediumship and everything else in there. Do you find that when you teach people, some may be more connected than others? It sounds like you just picked it up and off you went, whether you wanted to or not.
Right, exactly. Mediumship and psychic ability, I think, they walk hand in hand, but they can be very different things. I hear voices. I don't see people in the traditional sense like a medium does. I do see them in my third eye. I can get a picture of someone who might be standing there, like there's, you know, the little man on your left shoulder that I see, but I don't physically see it. I'm seeing it in my third eye. Tarot is a great way, when I teach tarot, it's a great way to kind of be able to feel the difference between imagination and intuition. And the cards are a great way to kind of confirm that for you. Yes, so people definitely come into this with different levels of skill. It's more like a muscle. People come in a little bit stronger. People come in a little bit weaker. And then, you know, once they have the kind of framework, we'll say, down, then they can decide which way they want to go. And the great thing about what you're doing is that they'll have a number of people to pick from, as far as teachers and advisors and things like that, which is, of course, a huge benefit.
Well, yeah, exactly. So from the standpoint of someone would come to you, would they come for a specific reason, or it's just they want to find out what's going on or what's coming up?
It could be both. It could be either or both. Again, if they came to me for a specific reason, and you'll have to excuse me, but when I start to when I start to get into spirit, my body temperature starts to rise.
Does it really?
Yeah. And later on, I'll probably get a little dry mouth. It's kind of a double. But yes, they'll come to me. And if they come to me for a specific reason and spirit wants to help, or the other side says, yes, they can have this information, then it's great. I can do that. Otherwise, it's, you know, you come to me and you're asking me, you know, where should I put my 401k? Well, you know, here, let me give you a general reading on where your life is going to go, and maybe you make a decision, but I'm not going to tell that to you.
Has anybody ever asked you the lottery numbers?
No, not yet.
That one kills me.
People do want to know. They're like, am I going to win the lottery? No.
That comes with a lot of pain, too. Beautiful. Well, I know you and I are going to do a little session in a minute, but is there anything else you wanted to share before we do that?
I can't think of anything. I think we've covered just about everything. Do you have any more questions for me?
Not at this point.
Okay.
All right. See you in a minute, Brett.
Great. Thanks.